Gamers and gamettes, what is going on? My name is Tenek127 and welcome to my Artefact weapon recommendation guide for the Great Weapon Fighter DPS builds. Now this goes, for anyone using the Great Weapon Fighter as a DPS build. If you're going for, an off-tank build or any type of tankish type build, then, these weapons aren't necessarily what I'm going to recommend for you, even though one of the weapons I'm using here does have, a special thing with tanking. But anyway, we'll get into that in a few minutes. Now we're going to go off with the first choice and the obvious, most recommended one for DPS builds for Great Weapon Fighter, and that is the Weapons of Fire quest. Now keep in mind, if you have done the Elemental Evil quest line in Spinward Rise, you get this weapon automatically, so you don't have to come here and farm 100 motes to get this burning fire axe. You already get it. And the reason that this weapon's recommended is simply because the bonus you get when you equip it as a set with its sword knot. When using a daily power, there's a chance 25% of your total AP will be immediately restored. It doesn't say total, but yes, 25% of your total AP. That's how it works. Now that's efficient for any DPS. Anybody who wants to do a ton of damage, get their rotations back up quickly, and moves, hitting faster, harder, and stuff like that. Getting your AP back up as soon as possible is a no-brainer. I shouldn't even have to really explain that. So this is probably the most recommended artifact weapon for any DPS Great Weapon Fighter build. Now, the second option I'm going to honestly recommend to you guys is the one that I personally picked. And I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to tell you why I personally decided to do that. And it's, just based off of my build choice and how my build is. So I'm going to explain a little bit to you guys about my build real quick, and then you're going to understand a little bit why I personally went with this weapon. Now, if you look over here at my stats, you're going to notice 25 strength, 15 constitution, 22 dex. Meaning, for the most part of doing my skill points, I mostly ignored constitution simply because I like doing tons of damage. My build is strictly for DPS. My build isn't built to take damage really at all. And if you guys take a little gander at my stats over here, you'll notice my power and everything's pretty decent for my item level. Nothing too special right now, but my build and the way I have this character set up, which I'll be doing a video on at another time, he is truly built to do damage. That's the main thing of this guy. He's not meant to hang out in AoEs and suck up a bunch of hits all day. He's built to dish damage, get the hell out of there. That's how my build is set up. So I went with the Earthen Greatsword. Now I'm going to explain to you guys why. If you look at its benefits, when you stand still for 3 seconds, incoming damage is reduced by 5%. This effect stacks up 5 times and is removed upon moving. Meaning, if you stand still, you automatically get a 5% damage reduction to your character. Now, me being a person, with not crazy high HP or defense, that is perfect for me, especially since the Great Weapon Fighter is a melee, mostly AoE focused DPS. So that means I'm standing a lot. My job is to get next to enemies. So obviously, as this build, any melee DPS in any MMO, you're gonna take damage. That's that's the risk of the job you do. That's just what happens. So I personally, picked this blade to increase my defense a little bit, and yes, I'll be straight up honest. I love this sword. That's also another reason I picked it. But another thing you can do to help is, just because I'm a DPS and I picked, a sword that's built, that's designed more for a tank, doesn't mean it's useless. You have to remember something. Neverwinter is a very customizable game. You always have options. So, with mine, I decided to add 2 pretty little things to it. This dark enchantment, I'm probably going to eventually switch this out for an enchantment that's going to give me more power, but right now I'm honestly feeling the armor penetration. But I also added a lesser lightning enchantment. Now there's other elemental enchantments you can use. I just personally, ended up getting my hands on a lightning one. So I used this, and basically 10% of my weapon damage is dealt as lightning damage with every strike. So any, enemies are, weak against lightning and stuff like that, I am hitting them pretty damn hard. And so, I added some things to it, to make this weapon even more effective DPS wise. And after, stacking it against the other weapons and stuff like that, I'm really not at too much of a loss. Like I told you guys, there's a billion ways to do your builds in this game and stuff like that, so there's all kinds of things you can do. Like I said, these weapons I'm recommending to you guys are just my personal recommendations. Go with whatever weapon makes you happy. Like prime example, if the water elemental weapon, if you just love the look of that weapon, by all means, go for it. I'm not the type of guy, to force any type of style of play on anybody. But if you want the most efficient, work and power out of your class, you'll honestly go with the fiery great axe. That's the best artifact weapon to use for the great weapon fighter, at least to my opinion. But if you're going for a similar build like I am, and want to do things the way I did it or similar, the Earthen Greatsword is not a bad choice. To my personal opinion, both of these weapons serve the best purpose as artifact weapons, just as artifact weapons, not anything higher than artifact weapons, for this class. And that's just my personal opinion. But anyway, guys, if this video helped you, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And I want to thank you all so much for watching. It's your boy Tanek127. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Peace out, guys. 誰も知らない秘密